How We Heard It, the podcast about music, pop culture, movies, and more, with your hosts Wayne Bledsoe and Chuck Campbell.
This is Chuck Campbell with How We Heard It, also with
Wayne Bledsoe and
John Baker.
Hello, everybody. So today we're going to do a topic that we had brought up months ago, I think it was, Wayne, and it didn't seem like either one of us had a problem with it, but something else came up and we just kind of blew it off, and it hit me over the weekend that, we never did do that one. That is our favorite foreign acts, singers or bands.
Right.
As per my understanding, our stipulations are they can't be from an English-speaking country, so we don't want Brits or Canadians.
Right.
Yeah, okay. We don't want that. They can be from a foreign language country, ideally, and they don't have to sing in their language. They can do English, or they can sing in their language, or they can sing a combination. And I believe that's the only parameters that we set.
yeah.
Right.
You know, there's a history in pop music of foreign acts that English is not their native language.
Right.
Like Los Bravos with Black is Black, which came out in about 67, 68.
I didn't know that. Okay.
And there was what they call the Dutch invasion after the British invasion.
Right.
Shocking Blue with the song Venus, which is evergreen.
Oh, they were Dutch.
They were
I
Dutch.
thought they were Danish for some reason.
No,
okay.
they were Dutch. And, the Tea Set, which had a hit with a song called Ma Belle Amie.
Okay.
And then there was, I think Focus was from the Netherlands too. Hocus Pocus with Focus.
That was going to be one of mine.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, there you go.
You want to burn through any more of our songs here, Wayne?
No, I don't want to mess up anybody's. I'm just saying there's a history in pop music of doing that. However, I more went the route of world music, which world music came up really became a thing around the time that Graceland came out with Paul Simon. And
Okay, yes, it did, yeah.
Had a lot of different artists
That
on
brought
there.
it to worldwide fame.
Yeah,
It
worldwide
existed long before then.
Yeah, but he's, the Indestructible Beat of Soweto. He was very influenced by that album.
It's an amazing album.
Yeah, and he got Ladysmith Black Mambazo on Graceland and got some other international artists, and then continued that on. So that kind of really ignited the whole world music thing in pop.
Well, I'm glad we're going to go on kind of different routes here then.
Right.
Then
I know what you're going to go.
Huh?
Yeah, I know where you're going to go. You're going to be much more pop.
Yeah, to an extent. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But, one of the things for our younger listeners out there, in the days before Spotify and all that, it was difficult for us, even as music critics, to really know what was going on in the rest of the world because... you couldn't go listen to it, online. There weren't many resources or anything like that. And, you might have a international music section in a record store, but it was always tiny, it'd be 5 or 6 acts, and there's a whole world out there.
Yeah.
So, I'm not really an expert on a lot of even the ones I liked, and I'm going to focus on the ones I personally liked.
Right.
I don't have any lasting expertise on any of these acts. It's just sort of the fleeting encounters that I had with them one way or the other, either through something that did come on the radio by chance, or I traveled a lot in the 90s and the earlier 2000s and stuff like that. So I would kind of open my ears whenever I traveled and I was open to things, but. It's hard to just be an expert from beginning to like we are of so many American acts or British acts, of just beginning to end of their careers. It's just they had 20 albums and I like this one, and I don't even know what these others sound like.
Yep.
So yeah, that's kind of my point of view. I kind of thought when you were going back that you would come up with some songs that were written before English was a language, or
oh no. I probably could. I mean, I didn't think that far back because I was thinking just on, recorded pop music stuff. I mean, there were lots of things that back in the 20s and 30s, a lot of times there would be folk songs in different languages, and they would have American or English translations. Like Billie Holiday's "Gloomy Sunday" was a Hungarian song.
And cool. That's a really tough language.
Yeah, and they called it the the Hungarian suicide song because it sounded so sad that people supposedly kill themselves because
oh wow,
they got so depressed.
I believe that. I mean, I spent some time in Hungary, and it was like, you are never going to learn any of this language, and just beg for someone to speak anything else. Even if it's German or something, you have to piece your way through that because that's just like a crazy language. But anyway, so I don't have any Hungarian bands in my act.
I don't have any either.
So spoiler alert. Sorry, Hungarians. But I mean, should we? I mean, how are you planning on going through this? Because I kind of have like different little topics.
Well, I wrote mine down by countries.
Oh, okay.
Because I have like lots of different countries.
Okay, I have some of that. Why don't we just start with
American Samoa. Go.
Zaire. How many bands you got from Zaire?
I don't have any from Zaire.
What?
I do have I could do a whole show on Mali, just bands,
wow.
artists from Mali. It's one of the most musical.
Oh,
countries
you mean
in the
Molly
world.
the country, not Molly the drug.
Yeah, no. Well,
Okay, I'm disappointed.
that's one I've never tried.
But you missed it.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
But-
there's a long way to go here. So, why don't we talk about Spanish to start with? That's kind
Okay.
of the most obvious. And that was something that I do remember hearing periodically, like on the radio. I didn't know where they came from and,
Right.
and all that. Was it, oh yeah, como va?
Oh yeah, como va?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. By Santana, from Mexico, and
Right.
like a great American music icon. So that he came in that way. Feliz Navidad, Jose Feliciano. I know he's from Puerto Rico, which is technically America, but still, it was kind of pushing
Right.
Spanish into the.
Well,
What?
oh yeah, como va? I believe was even before it was Santana. It was Tito. I believe Tito Puente, and I believe
Okay.
he was covering Tito Puente.
Okay. Well, cool. And where's Tito Fuente from? Also Mexico?
I think it was
or-
Cuba. Wasn't
Cuba,
Tito Puente
okay.
Cuban? No,
Sounds right.
no, I can't remember for sure.
But the door.
If only there was some way to find out.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's Latin. It was Latin American for sure, but I think it was Cuban.
Okay. But in the 80s, there was more opening doors. Like, I didn't know Linda Ronstadt's father was Mexican, and then she did the Canciones de Mi Padre, and so she did a full Spanish language album. And he was from Mexico. She was American, of course. Gloria Estefan, you were talking about Cuban Americans, the Miami Sound Machine, they did a lot of Spanish language albums. Of course, Julio Iglesias from Spain, and then his son Enrique Iglesias. So, by the 80s, you were seeing a lot more Spanish in the mainstream. And even now, you see it more than ever. Of course, Shakira. We've talked about Shakira a lot.
She's on my list.
Oh, of course she is. She's from Colombia, and we're both quite fond of Shakira. I love her askew lyrics and her dancing, and she just brought so much. And a lot of these are coming from different countries. Like Cuba is different from Mexico, which is different from Colombia. So, and Spain. My favorite modern Spanish speaking is Rosalia. I've mentioned her before, I think early on, like after we've been here doing this for about a month. But she's 2022. She had the Moda Mami album, and she is a great singer. And she has this great stylistic range, and she's quirky and weird and romantic, and there's jazz in there, and there's pop in there, and there's hip hop in there, and she does just a fantastic job of tying it together, and she's got a really distinct voice and a great range. So she's my favorite. And I also do like Bad Bunny, who's another Puerto Rican, but he does a lot of...
Tito Puente was Puerto Rican, by the way.
okay, all right.
He's born in America.
Was born in America? It said I just saw Puerto Rican come up.
The United States, or don't forget Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay. I keep pointing away from the microphone. Here, I'm going over this way. I'm scooting it over this way. There we go.
All right. So, one thing what do you want to do here? I don't know. I think
I want to think about Shakira. I just want to think about
you
Shakira.
can keep thinking about Shakira.
Because
No one's going to take that away from you.
Want me to turn the lights down low?
every time I think about Shakira, I think I do.
I don't know if you saw the Grammys this year, but she did an amazing. It was her birthday, and
We share a birthday.
Yes, and she did a amazing. I think she's like 48 now. And she came up and just all of her parts are disconnected from each other, and she can roll them this way and that. And beyond her mesmerizing dancing skills and everything, she's a great singer.
Yeah, she is.
She's just a great spirit too. So
Yeah, and she has good lyrics.
Right.
They're pop lyrics, and they're love songs for the most part, a lot of them. But
right.
But she's really good at it. And
Right.
whether it's, I don't know how it translates when she sings in Spanish, so if it's perfect, when it comes into English. But
Right.
she does both great.
Yeah. Yes, she does. We got any more Spanish to talk about here? Because
Sheila E.
Sheila E.
She
Is she Cuban?
I think she's Cuban. I'm not sure. We'll be looking this up. But Sheila E. is great. Hang on a minute. Well, we'll find it. Go ahead and we'll keep talking.
Okay, so I want to talk about, I think this is more of a general thing, but I think the best languages for vocalists in general are the Romance languages. Mm-hmm. I feel strongly about that because they just have the right flow. And so French and Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and I would somehow hear little bits and pieces of these songs with those languages. And oh, wow. Okay.
Electronic noises in the mic.
Oh, okay. Well, you got to look stuff up over there then.
So anyway, back to the Romance languages. I remember the girl from Ipanema, which was Astrid Gilberto. That was her debut album. And what's Antonio Jobim? Is it the hard J? I don't know in Portuguese.
I think it's Jobim.
But that song got me to thinking about this world that may or may not have existed, where mostly women were very coy and jazz inflected, kind of cool, sophisticated type of pop, like she does in that particular song.
Right.
And for some reason, I always pictured they had to be like French or Italian or Portuguese or whatever. And I did go to Brazil, and did go to Rio, where Jobim or whatever, where he wrote the song, and and I thought it was going to be like a cool mirrored jazz club overlooking the ocean. It wasn't anything like that. Nothing like that at all.
And you nearly got mugged.
Yeah, and I nearly got mugged 3 times, and I drank too much, and I was by myself in the dark. So, bad mistakes on my part, too, bad judgment. But I did pivot while I was in Brazil to Fernanda Abreu. I think I've talked about her maybe.
Right.
She was totally a great substitute for what I went down there looking for. But she had a song called Cacia Flavia, and it was all the rage and on the beach and on the radio and everywhere I went. So I ran down to a music store and bought her album. And so that's how I found her. So I found someone else to take the imaginary genre of cool Romance languages women. But I have noticed there is a line in a lot of the ones that I picked where there is actually a woman like that who might be from France or Italy or whatever.
Well, my favorite Brazilian act I was introduced to because David Byrne released a series of international albums years ago, and that's the first time. And they had a long history, but Os Mutantes.
Oh, yeah.
And their Brazilian psychedelic band came in the late 60s.
Okay.
And there's a song called Desculpe Baby.
Desculpe Baby?
Desculpe Baby, which is like a really sexy sounding song.
Okay.
And but they're great, and they have a male vocalist and a female vocalist. And the female vocalist sounds very sexy.
Okay.
Wayne, did you go to, I'm talking about the Big Ears Music Festival here in town, when they had the Meridian Brothers? Did you see that?
No, I didn't see the Meridian Brothers.
They're from Colombia, and they had every human being in the place, even the merch sellers, the vendors selling beer, everyone in the place was dancing. It was amazing.
Well, it's funny about, I'm not a dancer, and I look like we know that. I look like a chicken having an epileptic seizure when I dance, and I hurt people. Mostly myself, but there is something about Latin rhythms that makes you want to move.
Yeah,
and that's one of the things I do like about that kind of music. There was a band at the music festival I was at not long ago called Rica Chicha that's here in town, and they play a combination of like cumbia. It's a style of cumbia, along with like they had a banjo, they had a trombone.
They play ska.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy how fun it was.
Cool.
But yeah, so there's little bits of Portuguese, a little bit of Latin America.
Okay. Well, I got a little bit of Latin America too.
Okay.
I went to Venezuela a couple of times, and let me just say, I found nothing but trouble and problems
In the middle of a coup.
Yeah, and then, well, that was the thing. Is like I went with my friend Lisa, and she's a Spanish speaker. I mean, she learned
Right.
Spanish, and I studied French and German and Italian, but never Spanish. I don't
Right.
know why, but I had Lisa in my
Right.
pocket right there, so everywhere we went, she could speak and all that. Well, we had planned on her going back a couple of days earlier than I was going to go, and I was going to spend a couple of days. And they had the coup after she left, and it couldn't have been the worst circumstance. So I did go back, but it was, and I'm sure Venezuela, my heart bleeds for them now because they've certainly
have a
had
rough
a lot of hard times for a long time, but. It doesn't hurt to learn Spanish because there's a lot of great music with Spanish roots. And it was funny because like when I was reviewing and we would get the international artists and I could measure like who was reading me from where, I realized that if I reviewed a Spanish language album, even though I reviewed it in English and even though I reviewed it with rudimentary knowledge of Spanish, it would be popular in Spanish countries. My reviews were. And I thought, I don't know why they want to see what some dumbass American who can't speak Spanish says, but it seemed like they always responded to it.
I think that's natural because, I mean, I want to. One of the things I ask like people from other countries when I would interview them is, what do you think about the United States, and is it what you expected it would be like? And I think there's, people from other countries probably want to know what people in America think of their culture.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, while we're still talking about Spanish language. And I hope this isn't somebody's pick, but when the Buena Vista Social Club came out with Ry Cooder, we went down to Cuba and got all these folks together, all these old great musicians. All those guys were terrific. Ruben Gonzalez is the one that I picked up on the most. He was a piano player. But you had all this music in Cuba that we weren't hearing, and when he brought it out, it's like they became stars over here.
Right. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this is inappropriate to put in right here, but I'm reminded of an app that I use to listen to music, and it's called Radio Garden. And I don't know if you've ever seen it, but the interface is the world, and you can just spin the world around, and there's just these little dots all over, and you can zoom in, and each dot is a radio station. And so you can listen to radio that's being played in the deepest, darkest part of Russia, and most of it's but you can save your favorite stations, and there's one that I've saved that's from Puerto Rico, and it's just big band salsa. And man, it is great. It's just such great, and it's just like you're eavesdropping on whole another country.
Yep,
I'm going to write that one down.
Radio Garden.
Radio Garden. I love that sort of thing.
I mean, it's almost like tuning into a shortwave radio or something. It's like you can hear music from all over the world.
I love that.
That is awesome. I'm writing it down also.
And you at home, you can write that down. Radio Garden.
Well, speaking of Russia, do you have any Russian?
Absolutely not.
I found one that I listened to and like.
I still remember, when was it? When Russian rock was going to be the new kind of rock. And they were terrible. All of them were just cheap knockoffs of American rock and British rock. So, no.
Well, there is a... Go ahead.
Gorky Park. That was one of them.
Oh, okay.
I was working at the record store then, and I remember when they came out.
Well, there is one band called Auction, and
Okay.
it's spelled Auktion, and they are fun. It's like kind of crazy jazz mixed with... It's hard to explain what it sounds like. It's like crazy jazz and rock. And John Medeski from Medeski, Martin, and Wood recorded an album with him. He guested on it, and it's called Girls Sing. And, man, it gets you up moving. It's just crazy.
Okay.
Wild, cool music. And, of course, it's sung in Russian, what singing there is in it.
Yeah.
What's it called again?
The album is called Girls Sing, but it's Auction is the name of the band. and they've got a song called Profukal that I used to play on the radio all the time.
Okay.
I don't think it's anything dirty. You gave me the look like I just said one of the forbidden words.
I know. I was running through the vocabularies and thinking what that might look like and how that might look in Russian and if it might be something dirty.
Well, there may be dirty things in there, but they're in Russian, so I mean,
Right. So who cares, right? Who's going to know?
Who's going to be offended by
Yeah,
that?
right.
We have a lot of Russians here now, though. So
Well, we do.
we
yeah.
have a lot of Russians and Ukrainians, and
We have a lot of, I don't want to go too far, but we have a lot of Russians and Ukrainians at my gym.
really,
Yes. And I didn't realize that for the longest time. And then there was a little dust up in the locker room. And it was
Really?
like, oh, wow. Yeah.
oh
yeah.
wow,
So nobody was hurt, but I got out of there. Well, world events.
Well, Chuck, you've been on Spanish, but I keep expecting you're going to go to Sweden really, really quick.
I'm going to go to Europe, but I was going to kind of work my way around that. I thought we'd go to Asia. You want to take a stroll over to Asia?
Sure.
All right. So, unlike, Asian ethnicities in the United States are fairly prominent, and I don't think that Asian music has been that prominent in our culture until more recently.
Yeah, with Korea.
Yeah, I mean, like the first one I even remember is Shonen Knife.
Oh yeah,
The all women Japanese American group, and they sang in Japanese and they sang in English. And they were, what was that, like the 90s, I guess?
I think
Must
so.
have been because I remember it. So I can't remember much more. But yes, Korean has been definitely a big thing now. We did have Gangnam Style by Psy, which was kind of a novelty song. But that song was all Korean.
Yeah.
I mean, it was awesome. It was like 12 or 13 years ago now.
Yeah.
But since then, of course, and I've brought this up before, we've had K-pop, which is Korean pop, and J-pop, which is Japanese pop, and then there are other Asian albums, Asian vocalists and such who are in these vocal bands, like I think the Philippines and whatnot. But anyway, K-pop and J-pop are kind of the two main headings, and K-pop has been amazing because they've produced all these vocal bands, and they all tend to sing in both English and Korean. The Japanese sing in Japanese and English. But and those groups have started spinning off a lot of solo albums.
Right.
And just recently, like very recently, a couple of singers from Blackpink, which is an all-woman band, K-pop band, a couple of them, and they're probably the most popular one in America now, or certainly one of the most popular K-pop bands in America now. And one of them is Rosé, who did this song that you've probably heard, and it was all fueled by TikTok and dancers and all that stuff. And I believe this song, she did a duet with Bruno Mars, and the title is APT, which is like apartment.
Right.
But the chorus is all Korean. It's just like apitu. It's like apitu, apitu. And anyway, which means apartment in Korean. Okay. But Rosé and Bruno Mars, this song went to number one. I think it was out in October of 2024. And I believe it went to number one for maybe 11 weeks. So it was the biggest number one. And it had a Korean chorus in it. And Rosé, her album came out. I listened to that. And let me just say, I would say it's adequately serviceable pop. And by that, I mean, if you are young and you've not heard decades of formula pop music, and you're in the moment and you know Rosé, you'll probably enjoy it. But if you've heard this a lot before, it's just more of the same. Not that she's bad, but it's just kind of like formula. Right. So the APT, the apartment song, is very different because of the construction, and Bruno is also singing with her. But there's another gal from Blackpink, and that's Jennie Kim. And she put a song out, I think around the same time Apartment came out, called, what is it? Oh, Mantra. And it's Pretty Girl Mantra. So it's kind of it's this empowering thing for beautiful women and how, control they are in their lives and all that stuff. Her album, I've not heard it yet. I'm not sure that it's even out yet. It probably will be out by the time this airs. I'm not expecting it to be an amazing album, but I'll give it a whirl, and if it is amazing, then I'll come back around and tell everybody about it. And if not, I'll just quietly not mention it. But the important thing is that Korean and to some extent Japanese culture and lyrics and vocals and all that stuff, and people from these countries are a big force on the radio now, and I like that.
Well, I'm in the exact opposite on where my interests are in Asian music.
Oh, are you India or China or
No. It's
Mongolia?
It's more folky type stuff. That's it. David Darling went to Taiwan. He's a cellist, and he found the people in a place called Wulu Banoon, and they recorded this beautiful album of them singing and him just playing the cello. And it's just the David Darling and the Wulu Banoon. And there's a song on there called Loga Loga Kan Ibe.
God.
That
You weren't even looking at anything when you said that.
No. I used to play it all the time because it's beautiful.
Okay.
It is a beautiful song.
Okay.
And the whole thing is just like, you put it on, and it's just a bunch of people in a village singing with a cellist accompanying them, and it's gorgeous.
Okay.
So that's one. And there's Takashi Hiroyasu, who has he recorded several albums, but the one that's the best, I think, is with an American artist named Bob Brosman. And don't look up his history because you won't want to listen to it if you find out more about him. But Takashi Hiroyasu should not be penalized, because that album was great. It's called Jin Jin Firefly, and he plays slide instruments.
Okay.
And it's just lots of fun.
Okay.
And then there's the Tuvan Throat Singers.
Yes.
Ondar is the most famous.
Ondar is the most famous. I do like Ondar.
Yeah, and he recorded a lot of Americans on an album, but I think the stuff that he did, just that sounds more just his native style, is even better.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and if you've never heard Tuvan Throat singing, it's so weird because what they can do is they hit a tone and then they can manage to hit high notes at the same time.
Why don't you just, instead of explaining it, why don't you just do it for us?
I can't do it. I have tried. Okay. We used to try.
Have you really?
Oh, yeah. Me and my son Rylan used to do it at dinner and drive my daughter crazy. Will you all stop doing that? And Rylan kind of got so that he could do it a little bit.
Oh, wow.
But it's a real strange thing because you vibrate.
It's magical, though.
John probably understands it better than we do.
I don't understand it. But I was just going to chip in that, again, the Big Ears Festival a couple of years back, there was a woman that did Tuvan throat singing, and then before she started, she said, "I just want to assure everyone that I'm okay. This does not hurt."
Well, I can't remember the name of the group now. There was a popular group that toured the U.S., and they played here, and they played someplace up on Market Square, and Rylan and I went to see them, and they were tremendous. And just watching people, I mean, because they'll hit like a resonant tone, like, and then on top of that will be this high-pitched, almost bird-like sound.
Oh.
And, and they can manipulate that. And it's
I guess it's just training.
I guess. I mean, they get their two different vocal cords going at once somehow.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the thing is, okay, all right, you got two things vibrating in your throat, but then when you manipulate the high one so that it's like, who knows?
It just blows my mind.
It's crazy.
But it's always fascinating to hear.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I guess a good way to describe it maybe is it's kind of like a vocal didgeridoo.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to think. I was thinking of it. It sounds like a didgeridoo with somebody playing some super high, like, flute or something over the top of it, like a penny whistle or something.
Right. Didgeridoo don't.
Didgeridoo.
But yeah, so I mean that's with I mean those are my tops on that. I never could get into K-pop. I've been it's just
this is kind of thing that I reviewed more often. I tried to find out which vocal bands were good or bad, and they're seizing people at the most impressionable age. As they did when they when it was American and British boy bands and girl bands. So they're going to have lasting impact. Yeah. And that's what's so cool is that we're getting this wave of Koreans and Japanese and others
And it'll be
who are influencing all children in America.
It'll be interesting to see if those artists go on and do more serious stuff than they're doing now.
Right.
When they get older.
And how hard is that transition to make?
Yeah.
Well, it didn't work for a lot of American kids,
No.
So
I think Miley Cyrus did it.
Yeah.
yeah, she wasn't really in a vocal band, but yeah, she
but I
certainly
mean,
made the
I guess
Disney translation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
transitioning from being a child celebrity to being
and several have done that much at least, like Selena Gomez and even Justin Timberlake, right? And
for sure,
Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, and so I think the key is stay solo. Don't be attached to a bunch of others because you're all going to fail, except for Justin. But
Wahlbergs.
Yeah, and they were.
I mean, they didn't transition into artists, like musical artists, but they became actors.
Yeah, they did.
Art is art.
Yeah,
that's true.
Okay.
Which area are we going to now?
Well,
you're not done.
Whenever you're ready, I'm ready to talk about Europe for the rest of this conversation.
Well, I've got more Africa stuff than anything.
Okay, well, we want to go back and forth between Europe and Africa?
Let's go to Europe, because I'm anxious to hear you talk about Sweden, because I know you love
here's what
Sweden.
I have to say about that, all right? Because there are lots of bands that I love from Scandinavia, including Sweden, and they are the likes of the Sugar Cubes and Bjork and ABBA and Ace of Base and the Cardigans and Salt.
Right.
But the thing is, they mostly sang in English. They would do some Swedish or Icelandic or whatever songs, but they mostly sang in English, and somehow they don't feel as foreign to me as like a French band or a German band or something like that. So I really, I didn't know where to put them in here.
Well, but I think that's, because we had to start with the topic of just people who are from non-English speaking countries.
Right.
They
fit the topic, but it's just like, this doesn't seem the same to me as some of these others.
English is the language of money.
Yeah.
Because, they know that if they hit the English market, then they can make money. And there's so many countries that speak English.
Right. And these countries especially, like Sweden, Denmark, whatever, everybody speaks English. Everybody speaks English there. And if you go to France, you go to Germany, sometimes they don't. So it's not as their language is so specific to the small population of a country like Norway, that they have to know English.
Right.
Whereas you got a big country like France or Germany, you don't really have to, or you don't have to sing in it. You have enough demographic in your own country that you can sing in that language.
Yeah.
And if you just sing in Swedish, you're really limiting yourself.
Oh yeah, for sure. But my favorite acts from Sweden are actually like metal acts.
Yeah, they have a share of those too.
Opeth is great. They sound like if you mixed metal with Pink Floyd, kind of, because they're melodic. That was the thing that really struck me about them. Is like, this is heavy and this is dark, but it's like it has melody and it has guitar sustained rather than just being bang 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 bang.
That's kind of a trademark of like all those Swedish bands I just named. The melody, harmony, all of that, just key stuff.
And Ghost, which is really
Ghost, that's a real cool, hard band.
Yeah, lots of fun, very theatrical, and their second album was produced by our ex-Knoxvilleian Nick Raskulinix.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Who was his big breakthrough? Was it
Foo Fighters?
Foo Fighters. Yep.
He's big buddies with Dave Grohl.
There is Icelandic band Sigur Rós that sings only in their own made-up language.
Well, and that kind of applies everywhere, because it's like no one's going to understand this. So
but when you listen to their music, you realize the words are not. They're just sounds. The singer, I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's Jonsi. It's either Jonesy or Johnsy or Jonsi or
Jonsi. Probably Jonsi.
Yeah. But he has this just really high ethereal voice that's just like coated in reverb, and it's just a part of this whole gigantic tapestry of music. Their sound is huge.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it can be really mellow, like almost like ambient music.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, well, it's an adjacent band that's my favorite from Iceland is Amina. I've talked about them before. Their album Kerr is like my go-to when I need to relax and just chill out. It's beautiful. And it was the core is like 4 women. They've got last time I saw them, they had a man in the group too, but it's just like they're playing bowed saws and all sorts of odd instruments that it's just soothing but interesting.
Okay. My wife and I vacationed in Iceland summer before last, and we went there to see the band Pavement play, and Pavement did a 4-night stand, and each night they had a different Icelandic band open for them, and the one that we saw was called Mamut, M-A-M-U-T. They were very melodic, very dramatic. The lead singer was incredibly pregnant, and I was afraid she was struggling to hit notes that her water was going to break on stage.
Move back to.
But they were really good. Row. And I kind of think that Amino was one of the bands that opened for them. I think. Are they?
Yeah, they have they're apparently pretty popular. They got a lot of albums out.
Are they currently playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're still together and doing stuff. I was looking, trying to see if they had a new album out. I haven't seen anything that's brand new yet, but yeah. Another one, and this my son Ryland again introduced me to this act. And it's the only Finnish performer I know at all. It's Kimmo Posionen, who plays one of those gigantic ass accordions.
Oh, wow!
Those great big ones. He is like the Jimi Hendrix of the accordion. You will watch him. He hangs out with
the accordion.
I know it sounds so crazy and stupid, but you watch him and it's like, oh hell, it's just real dramatic and theatrical, and it's like you've never heard anybody play an accordion like this.
Right.
But it's crazy good.
Right. I've got an outlier here too, because it's actually a New York-based band, but Brazilian girls. We've talked about them before, and their singer is from Italy, Sabina Scuba, and she has that voice I like. I was talking about Astrid and Fernanda or whoever. But it's that very cool, kind of enigmatic, persona that she presents. And one of the main guys in the band is Didi Gutman, who's from Argentina. There are no Brazilians in Brazilian Girls, but there are people from, all around. So I like them as kind of a multinational New York-based band, but they have so much international influence. And especially, if your lead singer is foreign, then that's going to get me, more than if so happens you're a bass player.
Another band that kind of strikes me that way with that sort of cool, detached voice is Stereolab.
Oh yeah, Letitia Sadier.
Yeah, she got this real smooth.
Yeah,
I was just listening to them
French.
today.
That's a French name.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Now I'd mentioned Ivy before too, and it's like the two American dudes, but their lead singer is Dominique Durand, who's from France, and and she's got that voice.
Yeah.
See, that voice is like magic to me. It's just because part of it was I don't think the world I imagined actually ever really exists, where this was just a dominant kind of mainstay for women to sing that way. But anytime I hear it, it's
another singer that reminds me of that's not international at all, but has that same sort of breathy quality is Suzanne Vega.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
I always liked her.
I do too.
Yeah.
Well, John, we're still in that general area.
Okay.
So you can talk about Focus?
Well, this was the first just great rock song from the 70s that I ever heard that had, the vocalization in it is not even words. It's just almost like scat singing.
And it's got
yodel. And some yodeling too. But then it kicks into the most badass guitar riff, and you just can't help but bang your head to it because it's so good. So it was Focus. Hocus Pocus by Focus. Yeah.
Hocus Pocus by Focus.
The name of the song is Hocus Pocus. The band is Focus.
And it was a big hit.
It was a huge hit.
They played it all the time.
When was this?
74, 5?
Okay.
Yeah, maybe, I think 74. But yeah, you have surely heard it at some point and just didn't realize that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it showed up in a couple of movies too.
Okay.
But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I love that song.
Do you want to tease us with some Africans?
Well, hang on. Let's see. I missed when we're talking about Asia. There was during the Vietnam War. there were Vietnamese trying to make American music, and you can find that. There's some collections out there. They've had to take it off old radio transcriptions, but it is so much fun to listen to that stuff because I love it when somebody is trying to do something and can't quite get it, and what they create is something weird and different.
Yeah.
And all those Vietnamese artists, it's like you hear what they're listening to and they're trying to work with, but then they come up with something that's like, this is kind of better than what you were trying to do.
Right. It's the flip side of what the Russians were doing when they were going to do rock. They just did a flat, flavorless knockoff of rock.
We know the Soviet bloc, I mean, of course, that was the thing, is music was banned. I mean, Western music was banned there for so long. And you had like Plastic People of the Universe that came out of Czechoslovakia. And those guys got arrested and put in jail. And they were trying their best, to emulate the Velvet Underground and Frank Zappa and the stuff that they were listening to. But a lot of people don't realize they had to get bootleg albums, and they would press the bootleg albums onto old X-rays. Oh. So you have this whole culture of people that were trading X-rays
that had grooves cut in them.
Had grooves cut in them, and those were the albums. And you can they show up every once in a while, and it's so cool to me that people who were forbidden to hear this music said, yeah, screw you, we'll find a way to do this.
Yeah, that just makes it more enticing.
Exactly.
You just want to hear it even more. When so.
But yeah, I've seen like pictures up, of auctions, like Beatle records pressed onto X-ray.
Cool.
I was listening to a podcast about there's sections in China, places in China where old cutout cassettes from the United States, just in bulk, were just albums that never sold, and they just sold them to these Chinese companies for scrap, just to break them down into their constituent parts and reuse the plastic and stuff. And some guy found a truckload full of cutout cassettes and just started kind of trading them out with his friends. And there were these little pockets in China where, like, Billy Idol was hugely popular, and all these, later albums that never sold, and that they just became really popular in these little villages in China because the people were trading the cutout cassettes.
Well, that's another interesting aspect to me is like, and we had, I can't think of her name now. We had a artist that was produced by David Foster from Knoxville. I can't think of her name, slips in my mind, but like she had a hit in Thailand. And she went to play in Thailand because that's where she was big.
It's kind of like the old days when American radio, everybody had their own, all the stations had their own playlists that they create, and a band could break in some place like Michigan, even if they're from Alabama.
Exactly. So. And I miss that. I think that was such a cool thing. She Shot a Hole in My Soul by Clifford Curry, who was from here, which that's become a standard in R&B, but. It was like a number one hit in several big cities, but it only got to like 99 on the charts because it wasn't big all over the place. And it was like, now it's like...
There is no regional radio anymore.
Right. Now it's all programmed out of somewhere. It used to be Atlanta and Cincinnati, I think, were the two places where
radio's so irrelevant anyway.
Oh, yeah. Kids aren't listening to radio for the most part.
No, but... I'm not listening to radio. I listen to satellite radio, which is a little different because I'm listening to non-music most of the time.
But I don't know what it's like in other parts of the world. I don't know if radio is more important there or not.
I don't know. Probably depends on how prevalent social media is there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, but also... when we were in Asia, I should have said Arooj Aftab, and she's from Pakistan.
Okay.
And she's got a bunch of great albums out. The Vulture Prince is the one that introduced me to her. I saw her at Big Ears. Well, you probably saw her too, John.
Her newest album was really great. It was my recommendation.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Several months back.
But as far as discoveries go of people that I've never heard of, and I saw them play and was just blown away, she's right in the top of my list of the past 10 years.
Very ethereal voice.
So pretty, and she's got such great instrumentation. And I saw her play with Anushka Shankar.
Ravi Shankar's daughter.
Yeah, and she's...
Norah Jones' sister.
Right. And, together they were just stunning hearing them because they're both great artists. But, So that's the only artist I know that's from Pakistan that I thought was terrific. And of course, all the Shankars from India.
I reviewed a lot of these bands that were from countries like that, but it was always just out of the blue. The record company just sent it to me, and maybe they had already had 5 or 6 albums that I hadn't heard.
Right.
And I write a review, maybe positive review, and I never get another CD from them or another download from them, and like I say, so it could be like that one album out of 20 they did that I just happened to come across.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was the same with me. It would be some label would pick up an international album and decide, we're going to have a series of international albums. Right. And they put out one album by somebody who has that kind of history. And it's like, damn, this is great.
Right.
But you have to go digging to find the rest.
Right.
Ladysmith Black Mambazo from South Africa, that was one where they were introduced on an American label, and then I went back and got their older stuff. And then, I was talking about Mali, Amadou and Mariam, blind married couple. He is an amazing guitar player.
They're both blind?
They're both blind. They met at the blind school in Bamako.
Okay.
And they're just terrific. They've got this really easy sound. Of course, Mali was colonized by the French, so most of the songs are sung in French. Mm-hmm. And, of course, that's a beautiful language.
Yes, it is.
I've never liked French pop, but when it's translated through African
never
culture.
Liked French pop. We're done.
There's just not much that Serge
appeals to you.
Yeah.
Okay,
fine. I'm not criticizing it. It's just
you can only listen to Edith Piaf for so long.
I do like Edith Piaf, yeah. But also in Mali was Toumani Diabate, who was a kora player, and the kora is an African harp with a gourd.
Okay.
And it's just really soothing, pretty music, and everything I've ever heard from him is great.
I love the bonanza of neo instruments you'll get. Sometimes it would be like Indian music or something like that. It's like, wow, I've never heard anything that sounds like that.
Yeah.
And who would have thought to put strings on that, or who would have thought so? There's just a lot there.
Who thought about putting strings on a pumpkin?
Well, that's kind of the way it is. There's so many gourd instruments and things that they made over there that they're not going to reproduce here.
Right.
I've never seen an American play a kora.
No.
But so there's that, and of course Ali Fakr Toure, who played slide guitar and different things.
I beg your pardon. How very dare you?
But he did an album with Ry Cooder, and that's
when I first heard of him.
Yeah, and he's great. But all of his solo stuff was terrific too. And they're all from Mali, and Mali has a very specific style of guitar. I guess there's a big music school that's down there. Somebody must be teaching guitar because everything from Mali sounds different. And then, Habib Kouete, he's from Senegal.
Okay.
And he's another guitar player, singer, and just really fun to listen to. He's got a deep, resonant voice, and his guitar is just this really pretty soft tone to it. You'd like it.
Okay, yeah. I know I like these things, and it's like I know I've liked some of the ones I've reviewed, but I'll be honest that for me, I'm largely French and German. Oh, you got some more Africans?
No, I was going to say something else in a minute, but go ahead. No, keep going.
I got some Africans too.
Yeah.
Wait, that sounded bad. I've got some African artists I would like to provide.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, let's shift over to those.
Well, what about Nigeria? Do you have people from Nigeria?
Well, go ahead and talk about the biggest one from Nigeria. I know you're
Well, that'd be Fela Kuti,
yes,
obviously. And his offspring are also quite talented.
Yeah.
Seun and Femi Kuti. But also Bambino.
I don't know Bambino.
He's from Nigeria. He's an African guitar player. And then, what's the other guy's name? Mdu Mokhtar.
Yeah.
There's just a whole string of really great, interesting, great rhythms. Like you say, they just make you want to move.
Well, one of the interesting things about Nigeria is that's where Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier had the big fight, the big boxing match. And James Brown, I guess he went and did a concert there, when that was happening. And, James Brown inspired all these musicians just to get funky.
Yeah.
And, Fela Kuti would take the whole James Brown idea, and he had, this little club.
More like a church.
Yeah. And people would go to it, and they would just play like all night long. Any Fela Kuti album is like there's nothing on it that's going to be less than like 17 minutes long.
Most of his albums are just like one song on one side and one song on the other, and they're like 20 minutes long.
Yeah, but you get into it. You got to turn it up loud, and it's just like it's.
And he made a point of singing in the most common language that common people used across tribes,
right?
Because he wanted his message to. I mean, he was anti-government, anti-military, and he was arrested numerous times.
Yeah, and harassed all the time.
Yeah, and but he was a crusader for justice and
funk.
He is very much if you look him up on YouTube and just look for live Fela Kuti, it's very much like James Brown, and he definitely has this alpha male energy. Everybody on stage, and I saw Seyoun, his son, at Bonnaroo, and Seyoun had Fela's last band, the Egypt 80. And so these were all a bunch of old men. And I mean, there was one guy that just had a wood block and a little mallet. And he was standing there just going, for like a long time. He had a big smile on his face. He was the happiest man on earth, just going, bip, 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 bip.
He plays the wood block.
Yeah, it was a wood block.
Cool.
But yeah, he was a very influential artist down in Africa. And
right.
I wish he influenced more people here.
Right. Well,
the only one left I've got on that continent is Tarika, which is from Madagascar, the only band I know from Madagascar. And they have this really cool style that's kind of, you can hear kind of an Asian influence in it. But it sounds like that, but I think that's just native to Madagascar because, it's over there on the far eastern side of Africa and kind of removed from it.
Yeah, I wanted to I was on the far eastern side of South Africa, and it's just right off there, but somehow we had to get through Mozambique to get there, and that wasn't going to happen, so I came that close.
I would have loved to have gone there and seen the lemurs.
Oh, yeah. So much there. It's such a amazing environmental, setting.
Yeah. It's always seemed super cool to be a place to go.
Okay. Well, I'm going to shift to a self-serving, narcissistic.
Self-serving.
But I have an explanation for this. But it's like much of my family is French and German,
right,
on both sides of my family, and so I've always been interested in that. And I studied French starting in junior high. I studied French in junior high, high school, university. Also studied German. I also studied Italian, though I don't know that we have any Italian, but who knows, just in case, cover my bases. So, as a kid, I was more in tune to anything from those languages. And they have two very different histories, the German and French music.
Right.
And also, when I started traveling a lot, I went to France, I went to Germany, both of them like several times. Sometimes I would go to a trip where I would hit both of them, and sometimes I would go and hit one of them in some other countries and all that. And the adjacent countries like Belgium, which is they speak French, and Austria, where they're speaking German and all that. So that's kind of baked into me. And I know we should see the whole world, but for me, it's like, well, start in my backyard, and what my life is and who I am, and then branch out from there. But the German history, I guess I can start with them. The first German act I remember was Kraftwerk.
Right.
And that was, I had to... that was one of the first bands I ever remember, and there weren't too many that I did this with, but I just went on a scavenger hunt for everything they recorded after I finally heard them, because they'd had a bunch of albums out already.
Right.
And I loved what they were doing with the instrumentation and, and the whole, meditative type value of electronic music. And they would sing or talk in German and English, And I remember the song Autobahn, and it's just about the freedom Germans felt riding, on the speed limitless Autobahn. And so when I finally got to drive on the Autobahn, that would be going through my head. And so, so that was the first introduction to German music. But German music has kind of a weird history. And part of it, I think, is because the language is not as friendly, to music. And I remember, and just for a reference point. Even today, German music, old music, new music, is finding its way into TikTok and stuff.
Huh.
So there's this guy from Germany. It was a band and a guy. But anyway, it was Boney M. and it had a song from like disco days called Rasputin. And do you remember? And probably some other songs too. But the song Rasputin has been pulled into like TikTok and everything. And it's such a dramatic, weird, theatrical tale of Rasputin. And you've got all these women singing back to this guy with this low rumbling voice and talking about all the things Rasputin did. And the women would sing, oh, but the women loved him. And just strange, got the disco rhythm and the chanting vocals and the weird vocals. But somehow that caught on, and people like it for TikTok and for other videos. You know, it's kind of backy music. So social media has made a hit of Boney M. like 50 years later, 45 years later. And there's I guess he's technically a comedian. His name's Bodo Wartke, Wartke. And what he does is he plays with the German language and he talks and raps in it, and it's just sort of a weird little vocal game that he does. And he does this one, he has this other guy named Marty Fisher, and they go back and forth with these German kind of rhymes, and they get more complicated as they go back and forth. And the name of the song is Barbara Rhubarb Bar. and there's like the big part is abracadabra. And anyway, they're just like doing this real dramatic kind of German, and that's been like a big TikTok thing now, and people are dancing to 20 seconds of this weird German comedian stuff. But again, it's playing with the lyrics and the tone and all that. So even now, it's still, odd stuff. And if you look back German history in American music, you had Falco, right? And everyone remembers him for Rock Me Amadeus.
Right.
But the song from Falco was Der Kommissar.
Right.
I thought of that earlier today.
Yeah, the German version of Der Kommissar, I think A Group After the Fire, they did an American version, which wasn't nearly as good. And just, and Falco was kind of a rapper and just kind of spitting it out. And I don't know, alles klar, Herr Kommissar. And it's just like a weird little performative type song. And then you had Nena with 99 Luftballons. Again, going to Germany and reading up on them and everything. Nena, the band in the 80s, they recorded a lot of albums, almost all of it in German. And then the singer, the quote Nena, I guess that's her nickname, but her name's Gabrielle Kerner, started doing solo music. But they did have one real... Oh, and 99 Luftballons was also an oddly constructed song. Yeah. They did an English version, which was terrible by comparison. But she had an English song, and all this German stuff that they did. She had an English song called Let Me Be Your Pirate. And it was just this really sweet kind of melodic kind of... It was just something way out of the blue. And I'm talking too much about Germans now, but so it goes. But I think one of my more favorite German acts that's still kind of a modern is Chicks on Speed.
I don't know them.
You don't know them? Okay, Chicks on Speed. So it's a collective of women, and there have been a lot of them have come and gone. And I believe there's an art school in Munich which is their home. Right. And other women from other countries have been there. They had a real peak time when it was only one German woman and an Australian and either a Brit or an American. But they have like this Euro clash type music, Euro pop, but kind of biting, and a real feminist edge to it. And like I say, there have been probably 15 or 20 women who've been in and out of this group. But their best song was Euro Trash Girl. And it's just, they just talk about just a woman whose life is totally coming apart because she's just drunk and out of control and just, one of those. And it's like backpacking, and she doesn't have any money, and she's sick and all that stuff. But it's hilarious. And it's kind of spoken and kind of sung, and it just has that, like I say, electro clash type style to it. And it's, like I say, it's like a radical feminist German-based collective.
Yeah, so I haven't kept up with much. I mean, with Kraftwerk and that whole era, which they have a derogatory term for the rock music that came out of there at the time. But
was it?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
But I haven't kept up with any of that stuff really since then. But I mean, all that was influential on like David Bowie and people like that I really, really like. So I have respect for that. And when Bowie was in Berlin recording Low and Station to Station, and I think Lodger was the last one.
Didn't he record something with them at some point? It seems like there was a weird collaboration.
He had a lot of weird collaborations.
I'm not sure that they didn't guest on some of those, because Eno was producing them.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
Iggy Pop was there, too.
Yeah. Yeah, and Iggy Pop was doing stuff at the same time. And
they recorded at that Hanta sound. It was an old Nazi theater, and it was within sight of the Berlin Wall.
Wow.
Supposedly from in the studio, you could look out the window and see communist guards walking across the top of the wall. And that had a huge influence on how they lived, how they recorded, how they created.
And that era had the influence of that stuff filtered on into much later stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that era, and then I know the stuff that's, pre-World War II, the comedian harmonists.
Okay.
There's a really good movie about them. They were.
I don't remember them.
No, of course you don't, because they're the 30s. But they were a blend of Jewish and Gentiles.
Oh, wow.
And the Jewish,
Germans?
Yes.
Oh, dear.
And they were singing this great vocal harmony stuff. They sounded, they were singing American songs and American songs in German and some other stuff. And, of course, the Nazis made them break up.
Yeah.
And some of them...
They had a way of just ruining everything.
Yeah. And some of them escaped. But there's a good movie about them, and the great album that came out, I think, on Ryko Disc Records or something a long time ago.
Disc, I remember them.
Yeah. But it's good stuff.
All right. Well, continuing on my shameful Western Europe, I'm going to swing over to France, who at least was on the right side in World War II.
For the most part.
For the most part. Well, yeah. I mean, what they could. I mean, they were under the gun early. But so a lot of the French stuff came from me going to France, and it was much more accessible to, the German stuff is just weird things that just came from anywhere. And in France, I would go and I would find like the French MTV, and I would watch it, and then I would go down, to the French record stores, and I would even talk with, the French salespeople, some about this or that, and I came away with some cool things in the 90s. I discovered Les Rita Misuku.
Never heard.
Which there was no one named Rita Misuku in the band, but there's a Catherine Ringer who was the woman, the voice, the singer, and they had a song called C'est Comme Ça. And the thing about her voice is she sounds like Susie Sue. Even her delivery is kind of like Susie Sue, but an unhinged Susie Sue. And they had kind of this kind of neo-punk sort of drive to it and everything. And like C'est Comme Ça, which means, that's how it is. It had like a dancing monkey and just weird cutaways. I was like fascinated by it, and I ran down and told the woman I couldn't remember the name, and she was, "Oh, Les Rita Mitsuko," and so she took me to like 5,000 albums that they had released.
Wow!
And I picked the one that had "C'est Comme Ça" on it. And also back then, there's a singer named Etienne Daho. And he was like the male version of the women that I like, and just a real smooth voice and everything. But he did a lot of like French pop. The song I remember, he worked with William Orbit. He was one of the first ones to work with William Orbit. He had a Tombe pour la France, which was a really cool little pop video from then. Moving on in time, the group that I've glommed onto in the 2000s is Yella. It's Yelle, and that's both the name of the act and the woman who's the lead singer, and she has that voice, but they do this weird little electro-pop stuff and just burst of energy, but there's always like this smooth kind of je ne sais quoi. I don't know. But and they have a lot of great songs. They had in 2007 they had an album called Pop Up, which had several hits on there. It had A Cause de Garçon, which means everything's for the boys, and it's like this real kind of strike back, kind of this woman who's just done with like doing everything, just from styling her hair to what she's wearing, just for the guys who don't care. And they have a weird one called Ce Jeu, which is like just playing games, like mental games and sexual games. And like the whole band ends up kind of like all hugging and rolling around. And then in 2011, well, they're French. They're French. What do you want? Go to France for a while, hang out. You'll be in a pile somewhere at some point. And in
there's a story there.
There's a bunch of stories there. But 2011, they had an album called Safari Disco Club, which probably is their best album. If maybe the singles aren't quite as strong as the ones I just mentioned, but Safari Disco Club. That's still Yella. Yeah, they're my favorite band now. And there's a singer from Belgium, which she sings in French, and her name's Angèle. And she has a wonderful song from 2021 called Bruxelles Je t'aime. And it's really nice. It really captures the spirit of Brussels, which is, Belgium's kind of in the shadow of France,
right.
And Brussels is a fine world-class city, but it's near Paris and all this stuff. But she sings about she's from Brussels and how she always feels safe and warm and cared for there. Even though she loves living in Paris, she goes on and on, Paris, ma cour, Paris is my heart. But then she just goes through this beautiful little refrain, Bruxelles, je t'aime, Bruxelles, je t'aime. Great video, just very kind of uplifting and sweet. I could go on and on about these Frenchies, but,
What about Air?
Oh, yeah.
They're French.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Daft Punk is French,
Oh, yeah,
and that's like a big, modern, and influential.
Well, it occurs to me, this is maybe, but that there have been American artists who've gotten away with singing things that they couldn't sing in English because they would be too dirty.
Yes.
The voulez-vous coucher
avec moi? Yeah. Well, and they claim they didn't know what they were singing when they sang.
Sure.
It. So if you want to believe that.
I'm not down Patti LaBelle.
No, I wouldn't cross her in any way.
No. She'd take you out.
Well, I've been rambling about my birthright, I guess. Do you have any more foreign people?
I think I mentioned everybody. I think other than Astor Piazzolla, who when you were talking about Germany, the Germans influenced Argentine music heavily.
Yes, I wonder why that is.
And they have, and he's another guy that's an accordion player. He plays a bandolion, different type of accordion. But
I think
you interviewed him. And it's like when I was talking about it.
You remembered this.
Yes, I do.
I forgot.
Well, that's the thing. Him. It's like I was like, you interviewed Astor Piazzolla because I was like all excited. It's like, I don't really know who he was at the time. It was like, I was like, what?
Yeah. You just mentioned it. I was like, I know that name from somewhere.
Yes,
like,
you talked to him. Yes, you did.
I did.
You were when you were in Florida.
Yeah.
And it was like
dude, when I was in Florida, it's like I was lucky to know. Michael Jackson. I mean, seriously.
Well, Astor Piazzolla reinvented the tango.
Yes.
He turned the tango into classical music. And it's revolutionary. And if you ever see the movie 12 Monkeys, his music is all over 12 Monkeys.
Okay.
There's a couple other movies that they use him in, but he has an album called Tango 0 Hour, which will totally make you rethink the accordion and tango. I mean, it is truly tango classical music.
Yeah. And he's world class. I mean,
he was great. He was amazing.
No one's mentioned Ennio Morricone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's
some amazing music.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we didn't really cross into Italy at all, did we? Oh yeah, Sabina from Brazilian Girls.
Yeah. Talk about an influential artist.
Oh yeah.
All the music that he composed for movies, it's like, man, you can't get the good, the bad, and the ugly out of your head once it gets in there.
Yeah.
And Moroder.
Giorgio
Moroder. Great pioneer in electronic.
Yep.
Prior to MIDI, he got synthesizers talking to each other before there was even any real way for them to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Wayne, I want us to do a topic where you remember things from my history. 'Cause this is like the fourth or fifth thing you brought up that I forgot all about.
I know. Well, that was the thing, is like you talk to some of these people and, they're like the older people
Yeah.
that were legendary to me.
Yeah.
And at the time you were interviewing them, you didn't know who they were.
I didn't know who they were. Yeah, I saw on the Grammys earlier this year, they were doing the memoriam, and there were people on it. Like Jack Jones popped up, and my first thought was, now who is Jack Jones? That's the guy. That's the guy. I didn't know who he was when he called,
Well, what I was worried about is you're going to kill somebody else, because if we talk about them, Jack Jones and Mitzi Gaynor, and then they die.
Well, yeah, I hope not. I don't want to do that to these people. But anyway, we probably need to move to recommendations.
We probably do.
I think. So, who wants to go first? And what do we want to do?
Well, Marianne Faithfull recently died.
Yeah.
And I want to recommend what I think is Marianne Faithfull's best album, her live album, Blazing Away. I've talked about it before, I think. But
is that the one where there was not one lyric on one of the songs that you could say?
Why'd you do it?
Why'd you do it?
Which
is that on that album?
Oh, she does a blistering version on that album.
What's the name of the album?
It's called Blazing Away. It's produced by Hal Wilner. It's got Dr. John playing piano, Mark Ribot playing guitar. It's an all-star band, and she is on fire. When she does Why'd You Do It, which is a song that is written from the perspective of a man saying what the woman he has cheated on is saying to him. And I know it's a weird perspective, but it comes off, and it's scary how good it is. Cool. But she's got... she does, she was best. Her first hit was As Tears Go By.
What a voice, too. I'll give you that.
And that's the thing, is she started off with that soft, pretty voice when she was young, and then she, became a heroin addict and lived on the streets. And she got this voice like this, and it's so much better than what she had before. Yeah. And she was a sweetheart. I interviewed her when she was supposed to play at the Bijou Theater here. She had to cancel the whole tour. But she was just so nice, and, she was... When you talk to somebody that you admire so much and they turn out to just be really friendly, and she talked about how Dolly Parton had sent her a thank you note.
That's so Dolly.
Yeah, because she'd recorded Down from Dover, Dolly's song, and Dolly sent her a little thank you letter. And she was just saying how sweet that was, and, what a nice person she had to be. Mm-hmm. And she played God on... oh, gosh, I can't.
Absolutely Fabulous.
Absolutely Fabulous. Yeah. She was God.
Yeah, she was. It was and they couldn't have picked a better God, because she was great at it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is she had such a good sense of humor about herself, and she was just so down to earth. But I don't think she did anything that was. As she got older anyway, and she was doing what she wanted to do. After you get to Broken English, which came out during the punk era, and just redefined her career, everything she did after that was good. And Blazing Away is the place to start, because it's just great.
Okay.
I'm going to recommend... We were talking about sort of German aesthetic, and I think it's an English band, but it sounds very, very sterile and icy. The name of the band is The Blue Nile, and the album is called A Walk Across the Rooftops. It's very 80s. It's very much drum machines and synthesizers, but there's something about it is just really attractive to me.
Yeah.
And I just was recently listening to that, so I thought I'd throw it out there. The Blue Nile, A Walk Across the Rooftops.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Sounds good. I want to talk about a Belgian electronic band that's not Lords of Acid. It's Front 242.
Oh, yeah.
I've mentioned going to one of their shows.
I was wondering if you were going to mention that.
Well, and the thing is, Front 242, I read somewhere that they did their last live show in January of 2025, which made me a little sad. But they were so tremendous. They were not just an electronic band. They were pioneering industrial music. They were really like the fathers of industrial music, and they did EBM, which was called that was their electronic body music. So it was they used the synthesizers and everything, but they were actually even better live, which you can't say that about most electronic acts. They were better live, fantastic live. They've got live albums as well. And their they had a singer and they had a backing singer, and they both had flavor, and they played off of each other, and their lyrics were actually telling stories.
Oh, yeah.
So what I would say, I would go to 1988's Front by Front, and that was kind of the peak for them. They had a song called Headhunter, which was literally about hunting men, or hunting people, capturing them. And it had like this frenetic countdown. It's like 1, you lock your target; 2, you bait your line; 3, you slowly spread them, and 4, you catch your man. And it was just really about the inhumanity of like slave trade or whatever. They had a song also on that same album, the 88 Front by Front, called "Welcome to Paradise," and you probably remember that. But it was all about. It has these bits of like this deranged pastor. Who's, it starts with "Hey, poor, you don't have to be poor anymore. Jesus is here," and it's just going on and on. It's got this little kind of like ominous kind of going on, and he just keeps going on, and you hear people like cheering for him, and it's all about a very cynical song about when zealots like corrupt and overtake a denomination or something, and they use it to seize power, and there's like a political bent to it and everything, and just how watch out for these people basically is the bottom line. But they just have it going like it's just this dance song, but it's just so much more than dance music. And I know a lot of electronic music I like is just dance music, and they were always so much more. The year after, I think 89, they had the song Master Hit, which is one of my favorites, and it's kind of a bondage song, like an S&M type song, or mental torture. It's got a lot of textures and layers to it. But one of the lines I wrote down, he goes, "Constricting viscous rings around your warm body, holding you tied, and I feel so happy." So anyway, I strongly recommend Front 242 if you have any chance of liking electronic music from the 80s and 90s.
It seems like you recommended them a way back.
I might have,
because I remember listening to Front 242 as I made dinner after we recorded this.
I talked about them, and I talked about going to their show in Atlanta.
I think we're talking about like political songs.
Yeah,
I used to play Black Flags all the time on the radio.
Yeah,
and that's very political about the division between the rich and poor, and how you're being manipulated, and you don't know it. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, again, Welcome to Paradise. That really caught on with a lot of people who are caustic about organized religion.
Yeah, what I like about them, it's all those things you said, but they sound like punks too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very loud and aggressive, but it's raw.
It's raw. It's primal, and it's rhythmic too,
Yeah.
And so, anyway, and maybe I've recommended them before, but, I thought, we're doing these foreign bands, and they just, apparently did their last live show. I'm hoping it's just one of those, shared things.
Right.
It's like her last tour, her new last tour.
Yeah.
I hope it's one of those things, because I still think I'd like to see them again, because they even had a good stage presence. And they had like stage design. It was they put so much thought, and they were really influential, especially in Europe. But they were influential in America too. They were real popular in Knoxville.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think they're good too. Well, I have. I recently watched a documentary called "What the Hell Happened to Blood, Sweat, and Tears."
Okay, you recommended them last week.
Yeah.
Did I recommend that last week? Oh, I'm not recommending that now. Gosh,
I must say it was terrible.
Oh, I must have. Okay, yeah. Well, okay.
We'll come back around.
We'll come back around.
Yeah, we can come back around. I think what I'm going to recommend. Shoot,
you got your old notes. You got your old notes.
Well, I just started a TV show that's on, I think it's on Netflix, that my wife really got into, and she's already into the second season of it. But I've just watched the first 2 episodes, but it's called Bad Sisters.
Bad Sisters.
And it's about 5 sisters. The oldest one is married to this guy who is just sucks the life out of the sister. I mean, he just puts her down, and they have a daughter, and he's trying to squelch his daughter, and he's just a narcissist, and all the other sisters just hate him. And they can try and confront their sister about him, and she's like, "But he loves me, and he's a good father."
Yeah.
And it's, but the show moves backward and forward in time, and so you come to realize that they call him the prick, and then you flash forward and you're at a funeral and the prick is dead.
Okay.
And then you go back and you hear two of the sisters joking about killing the prick, and then you flash forward and back and forth, and it hasn't gotten there yet, but I'm pretty sure the sisters have killed the prick.
Okay.
Wow.
But it's funny. It's got a kind of wicked sense of humor to it, kind of dark humor. So Bad Sisters.
Okay. I'm going to throw out, and I know we've mentioned this in the scary movies before, but I think 1979's Phantasm is actually overlooked. I think people who saw it, and people remember it, but it came out in the wave of Halloween and Friday the 13th and Alien, and it was a little more low budget. But I think anyone who saw it was like, oh yeah, Phantasm. And the beauty of it is, they were really advanced for a low budget. They had a fantastic soundtrack, and they had just really a great story. Because one of the things, and it didn't hit me when I first saw it, but it's a story about these two brothers whose parents have died. And the older brother is this good-looking guy who's in a band, and he's got his life ahead of him. And the younger brother is like this geeky, kind of homely teenager who's terrified of being abandoned by his brother. Mm. And there's just this emotional impact in it. And the brother's not planning to abandon him, but they both know that this is a real big, mess up for his life and his, future of chasing women and being a big star and all that stuff. So, and that drives the kid, I can't remember his name that plays him, but he's got this kind of nervous energy of everything about losing his only family. But it's also really horror. It's a real horror movie. And they have this, incredibly complex sort of plot of another world. And there's this giant, Undertaker, who's this really vicious villain, and there are these weird things horrible things that happen. You're thinking about the hallway and the mausoleum. And,
I'm thinking about the steel ball.
Yeah, the steel ball. Well, that's what I'm saying. The steel ball rounds the corner.
Yeah.
We don't need to say any more than that, but that was like a new level of horror that I hadn't seen before. But anyway, I think it kind of, over the years, it gets lost in the shuffle, and people remember the ones, those others I talked about, they had good sequels, and this one didn't really have the best sequels.
I didn't see that one.
There were some, but they were kind of like, ugh, they kind of did it in one show. But I would recommend horror films. If they hadn't seen it in a while, see it. It is a little dated, but so much of it holds up, and so much of it is, it has a heart and it has horror both, and really commendable. Whenever I see it again, it's like, oh, this movie was really good.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Tell me if I've recommended Severance, because I can't remember what I've recommended and what I've just talked to people about.
Did he recommend Severance?
I think I've spoken with you about it, but I don't think
I feel like
on air.
Recommended
I
it
feel like
on
we've
air.
talked about it, but maybe not during the show.
I don't think so.
Because I keep thinking, one of the guys, because I see promos for it, I'm like, one of the guys recommended this. I need to check it out.
I don't think I recommended it on air, but it's something.
Okay.
It's on Apple TV.
Yep.
And it's one of those things where it reminds me a little bit of, roll your eyes now, Chuck, The Prisoner from the 60s, where people are someplace and they don't really know why they're there and what they're doing. Uh-huh. The concept is a business has a certain floor where to work there, you have to have your mind separated, basically. They put something in your brain so that you cannot remember your outside life while you're working, and you cannot remember
your work life.
Your work life when you're outside. You don't know what you're doing. And I mean, I'm not giving anything away because all this happens in the very first bit of it. People are looking at these archaic-looking computers, and there's numbers. And they have to pick out the numbers by feel and put them in a box, and nobody knows what it means.
Wow.
And people start wanting to know what's going on, and things start going wrong, and there's some really good surprises. And it's got Christopher Walken in it. It's got John Turturro. Adam Scott's the main guy. And it's really strange. And the second season is going on now. It's released once a week. But yeah, it's different, and it really draws.
So it's not
you
like
in.
severance pay.
Well, but they call it severance because you are split. You are like
they sever the connection between work you and life you.
right.
So
And
what do you just wake up as the life you and you don't know where you were? Or?
it happens in the elevator when you like go up to or go down to the floor, and then when you come up, when you're up and the door opens, you have your outside memories. When you go down and the door opens, you have your inside memories.
Wow. Okay.
And it's just
Sounds like a good concept.
It's a good concept, and it has a lot to say about how we're used as workers.
What are you talking
how
about?
companies, the way they plot things out and how you're manipulated. I think it's a pretty important show to watch right now. Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, considering everything going on right now and people getting into your personal life from your work life and how that's being invaded, it's something
Loss
to watch.
of privacy. Yeah. Interesting. All right.
So anyway, yeah, I'm embarrassed that I recommended the same thing twice in a row, but I just remember just talking about it. I didn't remember me actually doing it.
Well, that's the problem. We sit around and chat before and after these shows, and we'll talk about things that we hadn't mentioned, and then you'll come back to mention it the next week. It's like, oh, wait, you did talk about that.
Well, I saw that, and he won't get far. Don't worry, he won't get far on foot, like right beside each other. And I know I recommended Don't Worry, he won't get far on foot.
And I watched that. It was great.
Well, there you go.
Perfect.
And I watched The White Lotus because Chuck recommended it and you recommended it.
Yep.
And it was like, yeah, I'm into it. I'm ready for this third season.
Yep. Yep. All right. Well, we got to kick out of here. Go find some world music. There's so much more to the world than just the United States and Britain.
Yep.
So go check them out. Give them a listen, even if it's just French Canada or something like that. And we'll come back to you with more ideas next week. If you have any ideas for us, please write us at howweheardit@gmail.com. And thank you for your time.
You've been listening to How We Heard It with Chuck Campbell and Wayne Bledsoe, a podcast about music, movies, art, culture, whatever it is that's on their mind. How We Heard It was recorded at the Arbor Studio in Knoxville, Tennessee by me, John Baker. How We Heard It is a Cozy Planet production. If listening to this podcast has given you a burning sensation, then we recommend you sit in a hot tub until your symptoms fade away. If you'd like to reach out to Chuck or Wayne or even me, you can send an email to howweheardit@gmail.com. So thank you for listening, and come on back and we'll have another episode for you next week.